Hey, Paul here for Retro Gaming Arts, and so I just beat Resident Evil 2 for the very first time, and if you haven't been following the live streams, the whole thing is, since I've never played any Resident Evil, I'm live streaming all of them for my first time playthrough of these games 20 years after they're made. And I feel like I'm the only one who hasn't played them because I'm playing them with Aldo, and he's a veteran at all of them. Everybody in the chat watching, all you guys have played all of them. You guys really know your stuff, and I'm like the only one who doesn't. So it's a really fun time. We stream on every Tuesday around like 8 o'clock Eastern time-ish is sort of when we start, and we kind of go till midnight. So check that out. Next time it'll be Resident Evil 3. So, and thank you guys very much who have all been watching. You guys make it awesome. Like, it's like a huge group conversation, and it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. So thank you to you guys. So, what did I think about Resident Evil 2? The jump scares, they got me. The jump scares got me. I posted a video of that because that is awesome. Now, in comparison to Resident Evil 1, what I really liked about Resident Evil 1 was you had this claustrophobic like sense of like, I'm screwed. Like, it just put you in there and was just like, you're stuck. There was like no freedom. Like, that's how I felt like throughout the game. And in Resident Evil 2, I didn't feel that as much. I felt more, I don't want to say empowered, but I mean, I had a machine gun and like grenade ammo was plentiful, sort of, at times. And like, I felt like, okay, I could just blast through things, even though sometimes you don't want to, and you just do want to just juke and run around them, and sometimes you have to. But in Resident Evil 1, it was very like claustrophobic is a really good word. Somebody used that, and like, that's a really good way to describe it. And that sense created a scary atmosphere in a scary environment. Now in Resident Evil 2, the story, like when you're finding out a lot more about the story, and then that adds like a psychological kind of like, whoa, like this is messed up. This is really messed up. But as opposed to like, I didn't feel so much of the scary atmosphere in it as much as I did in the first one. And the first one kind of killed it with that. And like I said, it was more combat orientated. It's really cool to see like them growing as they were making these games. I've only played 2 so far, so I like to see how they continue to grow and what they improve and what they do better. And the combat I felt in Resident Evil 2 was a lot easier than the combat in Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil 1, it was more difficult, I felt, but in Resident Evil 2, it was a lot easier to just shoot zombies. Resident Evil 2 made it a lot easier to shoot zombies than Resident Evil 1. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I totally understand why Resident Evil 2 could be some people's all-time favorite Resident Evil game, because at the time, like, it blew my mind, like, oh, wait a minute. Now I get to go back, replay the entire game as a different character, but happening at the same time as my first playthrough. That's so cool. Like, that right there is, in my opinion, probably the coolest aspect of Resident Evil 2, because you get to replay it and then see the same thing happening, like a Tarantino movie. You know what I mean? Just see the same thing, but from a different perspective. That was my favorite part about Resident Evil 2. My favorite part about Resident Evil 1 was probably that feeling of you're stuck in the mansion and there's nothing you can do. Like, that was a really good feeling. And then when you finally get to the laboratory in the first one, you're like, I got out of the mansion, but now I'm in this underground laboratory. Why is it here? So far, I'm loving it. I'm very, very excited to play Resident Evil 3. I'm really excited to see where this goes, how the story plays out, and what elements. And I really like so far how all the games have different characters that you play as. That's really, really cool. And then I can't wait to see what happens in 4. So another thing I do, anytime I beat one of these Resident Evil games, I'm always going to do a video like this. And then what I'm also going to do, and I did this on the last Resident Evil video that I made, is I'm going to post every live stream video in the comments in case anybody wants to watch the stream afterwards, because I don't leave them up on the channel all the time. So I put them in the comments, and that's where they'll be. So thank you guys very much for watching me play Resident Evil. Thank you for joining. If you're gonna join soon and you do end up joining, thank you for checking out the future streams, and I'll see you guys next time.